What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Simulation for the Nation, and welcome back to the West Coast. We've been away for a little while. I took a little bit of a holiday before harvest kicked off. Left the farm in the good hands of one of my drivers, Jamie. Everything is still here and working well. As we all know, we planted spring crops only, so we had the early part of the summer after our hay crops finished, kind of sit back and wait. Now, it has been a bit of a miserable summer over here, I'll be honest. We are now at the end of August into September, and if we just look at the weather, it is not looking great. Up until yesterday, we hadn't really had a couple of two dry days to rub together. We've only just started to get those now, so we're out here this morning looking to see if we can actually get the combine started up for the first time this year. It's getting a bit desperate now. As you can see, the pods on the spring rape here are starting to show a little bit of sign of a white pod. Now what that white pod typically means is the pod's kind of opening up, it's splitting, and when it splits open there we're at risk of losing the seed inside. This was all the OSR was desiccated about 10 days, no, maybe about 14 days ago now, so it's all ready to go. We just haven't had the weather to go at it. So I've come up to the up just north of Little Wallhope here. The village is just through those trees there, and we're having a look to see what we can kind of get on with this morning. I either want to try and crack on with some some spring barley or some of the rape. So we're standing in the rape field at the moment. This is our variety of Invigor spring oilseed rape, which is Invigor V1035. And the reason we chose this one, actually quite fortunately, was because it's a little bit more robust, the variety. It withstands attacks from disease and pests a little bit easier, and which has been very handy for us given that we've experienced such a damp summer. And even the establishment started out well when we first drilled this. It was nice and dry, but then the weather really changed towards the late spring, early summer there, and we got a few sodden weeks really did not help our growth, but never mind, we are able to continue. It's dry enough now. We had a dry day yesterday for once, and a nice wind blowing through out yesterday, and we've got the same conditions here this morning. I just run this through a moisture meter I have, and it's looking at about 16%. So even if we harvest it now, it will need tickling through the grain dryer at the back at the yard there. We typically have to sell this off at about 15% to get our match our contract and get full price. So we will be looking into doing that, but it's only a quick tickle through the dryer. It shouldn't take too long. The spring barley on the other side of the hedge line there, that is a variety of spring barley called LG Diablo, and that is a little bit damper still actually. It's quite a dense crop, so it's going to be looking in the region of about 17.5–18% there. So all being well, we're going to leave that for a little bit longer to stand and hope that we can get some better conditions. Because we are going to be baling that straw as well, and I want to make sure that we can get that while it's still in good condition. So we'll have to think about that one. But we've got two fields of OSR here we can crack into. This one and just over the hedge there. So what that will mean is though we have to go back to the yard, change the header over, put the side knives onto the header, take off the lifters on the front, and then just change a few settings on the computer on the combine as well. But yeah, it's about time we get going there. It has been a bit of a miserable summer by all accounts, so we really need to try and crack on and get as much ground covered as possible and see how we can do. Right now we are averaging, or we've budgeted for the next year that we would average around about 4 ton an acre for the barley. For the rape there, we'll see a little bit less there. We're hoping for about 2.5, 3 if we can. But we'll hopefully, honestly, I'm looking to see about 3 ton an acre for the OSR, and getting on for about 4.5, 5 if we can for the winter barley or spring barley. Sorry. So we've got to keep going. We plan our budgets for our farm across typically across kind of a 5 years average, not just a 1 year average. So we've done that again. So if we have a bad year, then the hope is that we can always improve that next year or recover next year. But for now, we best not dwell too much on that. We've got a lot to get cracking on today. It's very early in the morning, so it's just gone about 7:30. So we're going to go back up to the yard. The lads are coming in shortly, and as soon as they're here, we'll look to move the combine on down really, and then we need to get started. We can't hang around any further. We will be. The good news is that we'll just be leading the OSR straight back up to the yard here, so it's a quick haul. Shouldn't take too long at all. And yeah, we'll get ourselves going. So we're just going to tootle around the corner, and then once we're here, we'll be able to crack on and just make these quick adjustments to the header. Really, it doesn't take too long to put the side knives on. We're going to take the lifters off the front because the crop, the OSR is a high crop. It's off the ground. We only really keep the lifters on when we're if we're into a denser crop of barley, for example, that's maybe been flattened by the rain or worse. So we'll just pull this out the way to here. Let's go and look, see. So I hope you're all doing very well today. I hope if you have started your own harvest, I hope you're making some good progress, or better progress than we have at least. It's been a bit miserable. It's been one of the most frustrating summers when you know that you can't do anything. It's been one of the most frustrating summers when you know you can't get on, nothing's fit to cut, so you've just got to sit there and wait, really. There's not something I'm particularly good at, let's say. So let's go to customization here. Alright then, let's get this out of the way. I'm going to put my toolbox back over next to the service truck here. There we go. Keep everything together. Combine's all fueled up, all service ready to go. It's been kind of sitting there really, frustratingly. We've got our rape knives on the side now, so these will actually come through and just cut the crop straight through, make it nice and easy to cut through. I've taken off the long side, or the long lifters on the bottom there, but we've put a few shorter ones on. And we should be good to go. What I am going to do now though is just make sure we're all set up, and we're going to move the combine down there. So we'll join up with you in a moment or two. Well no, we'll probably, it's going to get a little bit tactic here, so we'll likely come back to you when we're in the field and we've just got to start. So we'll catch up with you in a short while. Well, welcome back everybody. Welcome back inside the election for the first time this harvest. We've made a good start. We've got our first headland knocked off, and we've done a little bit more at the bottom end there, but we're away. We're got ourselves changed over, got the combine moved over here pretty swiftly this morning, so we're now just really cracking on in, trying to get as much done today as we can really. Right now, as we approach the end of our second hectare here, we're currently looking at the hectare count is around about 1.25, nearly 1.5 perhaps. So we're making some tidy progress. We had a little bit of issue getting the header hooked up this, earlier on, but we've managed to get past that. We are working our way through. First impression so far of this field, as the tank just gets to 50%, is hit and miss. The headlands have been a little bit light, as he misses some more there. Let's get that back. Like I was saying, yeah, the headlands have been a little lighter here, particularly down at this bottom end. It's not so bad up at the top there, but it's a little bit light down here. Spot yields so far are probably coming in around about the threes, I would say, around early 3.5, well 3.1, 3.2 tons. But we'll see what we can do about that. Hopefully, as we progress into the middle there a little bit more, we should start to see a bit of an improvement, particularly in the middle of the field. But we'll see. I'm still confident. We've got a nice start. It is still coming in around 16% here, so the lads are taking this straight up to the dryer. We'll get this tickled through there. But for now, we're just going to top up the... let's get that picked up. Lovely. We're just going to top up what's in Jess's trailer here. I need to work myself a little bit closer. She's probably looking at being in the region of about, she must be close to about 70% full. So we'll just get it topped up. It's nice to see the first load coming off there still with a little bit of dust. That's always a benefit. Like I say there, we are just carting this straight up to the shed, so really it's going to be a bit of a slow ride for these two in the trailers today, but I'd rather have two people on the trailers and able to get going just in case something should happen, rather than one person and I'm stuck waiting. 83%. Just got a little bit more room to go out there. That all get put back in. So we've done two full rounds. We've got a little bit more off this bottom end here just to give the tractor some turning room, but we're making some nice progress here. There's a few wet spots on the hill here. Even the tracks on the combine are getting a little bit slippy, but we're making a job of it. Let's put it that way. Right now, though, all we can do is just keep plugging away. The forecast for today is okay. The forecast for tomorrow is not. So ideally, if we can, we'll get as much all of this field done and maybe knock off a block of the rape field on over the fence line there as well. If we could get through both of those, I'd be very happy, but it would be very tight. That said, it's still early morning, it's only about 9 o'clock now, so we'll have plenty of time. Barring any interruptions, we should be good. Oh, we've missed a bit there. Combine seems to be set up very nicely this morning as well. Everything is purring along. The knives are working well, aren't struggling too much. Like I say, it gets a little bit thick on the hillside here, and that combined with the slippiness underfoot, slowing us down a touch. But we should be okay. We just have to progress through here quickly. It looks surprisingly heavier than it is. The crop looks very dense. Oh, but some more of that. Haven't quite got my GPS set up yet. But it looks a little bit denser than it is. At the moment I haven't seen too much sign of any loss on the ground. There's not a great deal of pods that are fully open yet. They're starting to open a little bit, but they haven't popped right open, so that's good news. So we shouldn't have lost too much seed. We need to keep our loss margins as low as possible. But other than that, it's coming through nicely. Good to get this combine out. This is of course the first year with us for the Lexington 740. Initially I thought it was going to be push comes to shove, whether it was a bit too big. I could have opted to go for a Tucano or an older 600 perhaps, but overall I'm probably very happy with the 700, the 740 being the lowest in the range. We are always, and we have taken on a lot more ground so far already, so it's nice to have that extra capacity in the combine. 9-meter header on the front here, so it's really not struggling at all with the header. And in fact, if this crop was a little heavier, then we would still be able to push to it at the same kind of speed we are now, truth be told. Got a large amount of dust coming off the back there. You can probably just see it through the wing mirrors, which is typically you get a lot more dust off a crop when it's been wet. When it's wet and dries again, that's when you get a lot of dust appearing. So it's again, the main thing is that it did dry down. We got that day yesterday with the like constant breeze through it. Really, it was very, very good for us. And there's our alarm for 40 or 25% full. When that goes off, so we get the beacons flash once, I believe. Get this lifted up. Kind of on the top of the valley here, on the northwest or northeast side, looking down over the village of Little Woolhope, and of course our first yard here, and then over the top of that hill you can just see in the distance there. On the other side of that hill is where the rest of our land is. I had a look at the land down there that is in spring barley. For the most part over there, we've got a few fields of beans, but it's going to be a while away yet, unfortunately. That's still coming in about 20%, so it's not going to dry sufficiently today, and I doubt we'll get into it tomorrow given the weather we're expecting for the next few days. So that's going quite worrying. That could be another week till we get around to that, so we'll have to wait and see. but the weather really isn't giving us any help here today. Now, as you can see, a lot of the rest of the land around here is actually coming through in spring wheat or spring barley. Now, we will be baling all of that straw. That straw will be going towards the straw pellets. We've had a big demand for a lot of pellets from various different people. Primarily, they all come through our straw distributor, but we have had a few outside requests as well. So we've been lucky that we've been able to meet those. It's getting to the point though where straw is really hard to find, so we really need to start making our own. And as soon as we can do that, as soon as we can start, then we'll be able to continue and get this all worked in. We have, like I say, we built this second shed here that we bought second hand for exactly that reason, to be able to allow us to really capitalise on the amount of straw we're able to produce from the acreage we have. So it'd be nice if we can start to see some sort of benefit come from this. But for now, we'll just go and fill up Jess here and she'll get on her way. Probably not going to take a great deal. Full there. So that's about it. So she's going to get on her way. We find she's heading back down to the yard, and whilst I wait here, I'm just going to set up my GPS, and we'll start making some inroads. Well, we're back, and just like every harvest, it never goes quite without any hitches or hiccups. We have Jamie in his John Deere is out of action temporarily. He's got a split hose on his trailer, so he took a load back to the yard there, tried to tip into the grain store, and he's ended up just spilling oil all over the floor of the yard. So, and I believe a bit of seed as well has just gone everywhere. So for now we're down to one trailer, but then this is why you have more than one. You kind of hope to circumnavigate any issues like these that arrive, and we've done that so far. So, I mean, when you're cutting OSR, it's not a very high density crop, so it's you can kind of get away if you got a close hold. You can get away with one trailer, so we'll just have to do that for now. But yeah, there's always a hiccup. If that's the only bump in the road we have between now and the end of harvest, I'll take it. So Jamie's just back at the workshop now, trying to get a good seal back onto the fittings of the hose and see if he can get all that worked out. But he's going to be out of action for a little while, I should think. As we slowly lumber up this hill, we're really slipping a bit here. Might have to come into here in the winter and the summer, once I get this cleared, and just see what's going on with the field drains in here, because the top of this hill is really soppy, really wet and sticky. There we go, get a little bit more grip back there now. This has been, by all accounts, one of the worst harvests on record for a long time. A lot of people suffering. People who had winter crops in the ground, they really got a hammering when they were over the winter, when they needed some nice drier condition. All they got really was a lot of rain, nice dryish spring, and then they got a hammering again just as they needed a lot of sunshine. They got a real pelting with rain, so a lot of winter barley on the ground, struggled to pick it up. Quite a bit of rot as well in there, a little bit of mold on the head. So it's been a real struggle so far this summer by all accounts for everybody, but we're doing our best here. We are doing our best. Hopefully the next few weeks will be good for us. So we've got Jessie in her tractor down the bottom that's parked up. I'm just going to fill her up on the bottom end there. Like I said, the field's a little bit wet in places as well, so I don't want to make excess mess really, or compaction, if we don't necessarily have to. So we'll just keep it down the bottom end here for now. Those beeps you can hear are the GPS. We've got it all up and working now, so it's telling me where I am. A lot of people have different ideas about how to fill the trailer. I've always gone off filling the back first. Some people like to fill up the front first, but I've always filled up the rear end of the trailer first. A couple of reasons that I do that: it puts a lot of weight on the tires there, so it leaves an even weight distribution. But also means if we're filling on the run, the tractor driver has a little bit more chance of being able to see what he's actually doing and what he's filling up there. So if we leave the front end lower, then quite often you can actually see how we're getting on. As you can see, we're about empty. Perfect. We'll just go this side now, I think. So far I don't have a great deal of contract work to be doing with the Combine this year, which right now I'm delighted about because it's been we're looking at like quite a challenging year to get this finished. There's likely always going to be a few little things coming up. There's a few neighbouring farmers who've got a lot to do, and it's just one of those things. I feel if the weather's a bit of a push, then they'll start asking around to see who's got a spare machine to come and help out. And if it's me, then I don't mind jumping in. I'll always come and do what I can, but it all depends upon how I'm doing with my own first. I think is a safe assumption. But so far, yeah, can't complain. It's all coming through very well. Barring that one mishap with the trailer hydraulics, if it continues like this, I'll be happy. We're going to keep plugging away for the rest of the day. By all accounts, we should at least get the headlands knocked off in that field next door to us, and then we'll see how the weather plays out for the next few days. Worst case scenario, if it's going to be wet and miserable, I'm not quite sure what we'll do, but we'll just have to park everything up and wait and pray for the weather gods, really. But for now, I'm going to just keep plugging away here. This has been a bit of a shorter episode, but I just thought I'd let you know how we're getting on and that we're back. It's been a while, but there was a reason why we weren't here anyway. But yeah, we'll catch up with you later on down the line when hopefully harvest is continuing. I might get the drone out actually when we get into that next block this afternoon, and we'll see how we're looking. Bring up some updates along the way, but for now, all it leads me to say is thank you very much as always for sticking around and watching what we're getting up to. We are back on the west coast now, and we'll be keeping an eye on things for the next few weeks at least. So until we see you again, thank you very much for watching always. If you haven't already, do hit that thumbs up button if you have enjoyed it. And if you're new to the channel, then hello, welcome, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed already, then do smash that subscribe button as well. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, enjoy what you're doing, but most importantly, happy farming.